Okay, so I'm fortunate enough to be able to borrow this brand new electric Ford Mustang Mach-E. So what we're going to do is a quick walk around of the vehicle, and we're going to talk about some of its features, and we're also going to do a comparison of this Mach-E to a traditional Mustang. Actually, it's not a traditional Mustang, it is a Shelby GT500. And since this car is wearing a Mustang badge, we have to do a comparison, and we'll talk about how this car is different than a traditional Mustang and maybe ways that it's also the same. So let's start talking about some of the key differences or the key features of this car. It's a four-door SUV, and to unlock the doors or to open the doors, it has a little button here. You push the button and the door pops open. And the same thing with the back door. You push the button and the door pops open. And then you have a traditional back seat. Now that is bigger than the back seat of any Mustang that I have ever seen. It also has something that no other modern Mustang has, a hatch. And there's a little button underneath here, and the hatch opens up, and you have a very nice amount of cargo space in here. Now underneath the mat is where the charger is kept, but that's a fair amount of space for carrying cargo. Now on the front you have your charging port, and so you can plug in a charger here, and then you have an indicator that will tell you the status of the charge while it's plugged up, but we'll take a look at that a little bit later. Now every car guy will tell you, let's look at the business end of this car. So we're going to do that. We're going to take a look under the hood, and we're going to see nothing. More storage space. So I would imagine you could probably get a couple of grocery bags and things like that under here. You also have a refill tube for your washer fluid, but that's about it. And unlike a traditional car, you do not have a grill or anything like that up front. Now I believe these are active louvers. Now, I'm not going to be able to film those opening, of course, but that's what they are. So when I first heard about this car, a question that I had was, is this a real Mustang? And so to find out if this is a real Mustang, we're going to compare it to a real Mustang. Now this is what you can expect to see in most traditional Mustangs, a big gigantic V8 engine, and it has all the sound and the power that goes along with it. Let's take a look at an older Mustang. This is the first generation Mustang. It's a 1966 with a 289 V8. So that's part of what you will not get on this car. What you get on this car is a battery that can take you approximately 300 miles. But that's it on the exterior of the car. Again, it looks very much like a traditional car or a traditional crossover SUV. Is it a sports car? Is it a Mustang? Well, of course it is. It says Mustang on it. But is it a traditional Mustang? No, there's nothing traditional about this car. In fact, I think we're going to have to redefine what it means to be a traditional Mustang. You know, because Mustangs like this one, this has 525 horsepower. How many people have ever ridden a horse? What is a horsepower? Who knows? But this car actually has a horsepower rating, believe it or not. And so for this next generation of Mustang fanatics, they're going to redefine the world, because maybe they will find a different way to measure the power of electric cars. You know, maybe they'll be measured in, I don't know, volts, or I don't know. I don't know what the appropriate measurement's going to be. But it's even named after a horse. And I can tell you that this Mustang fanatic has never ridden a horse in my entire life. And I don't think I ever will. All right, so let's hop in this car, and we're going to take it for a ride, and we'll see what it feels like. All right, so we got the car fired up. So let's go for a ride. So you can see the backup camera comes on, which is kind of nice. And this thing is whisper quiet. But that's what you would expect out of an electric car. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is talk about some of the things that I like, love, and some things that I don't particularly like in the Mach-E. So number one of things that I actually love is the moonroof, or the glass roof. Actually, it doesn't open, but I just like glass roofs. My Shelby is a glass roof and absolutely love it. I have a big sunroof in my F-250. Absolutely love it. Number two thing that I love is this large screen. This screen is absolutely amazing. The clarity, it's very high def. The colors look good. It's just very well done. This is the best application of a touch screen that I've seen. Actually, in any vehicle, it's really, really good. Next thing that I like how the speakers are integrated into the dash. So you actually have a speaker in the door, but you also have a speaker up here in the dash. They're hidden. You know, speakers should be heard and not seen. That's just my theory. All right, so what else do I like / love about the Mach-E? The acceleration. Now, it's pretty common with electric cars for them to have monster acceleration, and just like the Teslas and probably every electric car out there, this thing accelerates like a beast. It's amazing. I do like the different drive modes, and I've played around with them, but I'll be honest, I don't see a big difference between them because it's just so fast. I mean, this is a very, very fast car. So if you're going to compare it to a Mustang, does it compare with a Mustang on acceleration? Absolutely. It's amazing. It's really, really good. And I love that it's really quiet. Now, the styling. I'm going to talk about the styling for a minute. It is a good-looking car. It's a very good-looking car. But I'm a Mustang fanatic. I've owned, I think, 6 Mustangs so far. And I've always loved the look of the Mustang. Almost every generation except one. So does it look like a Mustang? It doesn't. It does. I mean, it has some of the design elements of a Mustang, a long hood, a short backside. So that's kind of a traditional Mustang look. But this actually looks more like a very attractive crossover SUV, because that's what it is. This is a crossover SUV. It's not, I don't think it's intended to be a sports car per se the way the Mustang is. But for what it does, it's very, very good at it, and it's very good looking. In terms of the back seat space, I think it's okay. For a crossover SUV, it's relatively comfortable. You know, so the way I have the seat set up for me, I am 6'2", and I'm very comfortable in the driver's seat. Sitting behind me, it's a little tight. For a short trip, it wouldn't be too bad. And if I were going to be on a several-hour trip, I know I wouldn't want to sit behind me in this car. That wouldn't be a lot of fun. All right, so what are some of the things that I don't like? So number one is the lack of an adequate charging infrastructure here in Memphis. There is exactly one fast charger that I'm aware of, and we're actually going to go by there. I don't know if I'll do it today or tomorrow, but we're going to go fully charge the car up before I turn it back in. So the charging infrastructure, so that could be mitigated by getting a fast charger in your house. You know, I think I mentioned earlier in the video that I've been plugging it into a regular 110 outlet, and it takes forever to plug in or to charge it off of a regular 110 outlet. And if that's the only option you had, there's no way I would get an electric car, because a 110 outlet is not sufficient for a full electric car like this. Something else that I don't like, every time I get out of the car, the freaking horn beeps. My truck does that too. So I don't know, I guess that's just a thing that Ford does. I mean, my truck does it if I leave the truck running and get out of it. It beeps the horn for whatever reason, as though I can't hear my diesel engine running. Okay, what else do I dislike? I don't like drivers in Memphis. These people can't drive worth a damn. But no, that has nothing to do with this car, except the fact I don't want to get hit while I'm in a car that I borrowed. God, I'm stretching here to come up with something that I don't like about it. I really, I don't know, I can't find a lot that I dislike. Now, comparing, I did have an opportunity to sit in a Tesla, and I think the Mustang is a lot more stylish than the Tesla. But again, that's subjective. I would imagine someone who's a Tesla fanatic might feel differently about it. So I've had this car for about 4 days, and I've had an absolute blast. It is a fun car to drive, it's good looking, and yes, it is most definitely a Mustang. Now, I'm going to get the car back in a couple of weeks. Now, if there are any questions or comments or any features that you want me to cover or discuss in my next review, please drop me a comment in the comments section, and I'll make sure that I answer any questions that you have. Also, if you like this video and want to see more like it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and keep coming back. This is Q. I'm riding, I'm wrenching, and I am out.